Okay, so today we are going to look at parallelograms, and a parallelogram is a type of quadrilateral. Alright, so we have four different angles, four different sides. And let's look at some attributes of a parallelogram. In a parallelogram, opposite angles are congruent. So A is congruent to angle C, as well as B congruent to angle D. Angle B congruent to angle D. In a parallelogram, we also know that opposite segments are congruent and parallel. Congruent and parallel. So these two are congruent and parallel as well. Parallel. We also know that consecutive angles, consecutive angles are supplementary. Well, what does that mean? What it means is that any two angles next to each other, such as D and A, are equal to a sum of 180 degrees. And that could be D and A, it could be D and C, it could be B and C. Any two angles next to each other in a parallelogram, and the word we want to use is consecutive angles, are supplementary. So they both add up to 180 degrees. Furthermore, in a parallelogram, we also know that the diagonals bisect each other, meaning that this point where they intersect is the midpoint of DB as well as AC. Those two are equal, as well as these two segments here are equal. Alright, so these are some basic attributes, or properties I should say, basic properties of a parallelogram. Again, opposite angles are congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary, opposite sides are parallel and congruent, and consecutive angles are supplementary. I hope this helps you. If you need any more assistance, please let me know.